What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Wolfcrier here with a leveling refresher guide for Season 19 in Diablo 3. Now, leveling from 1 to 70 in a brand new, fresh season can be done relatively quickly. I know that I personally can do it in about 2.5 to 3 hours, and I am actually running a stream. I'm running a charity event. I'm talking to my chat. I'm taking breaks here and there, so I'm not super efficient. And I can still do it in under 3 hours. So if you are a player that is going to be running rifts and getting out there and killing stuff efficiently and spending less time in town than I personally do, it is entirely possible to level 1 to 70 in under 2 hours. Especially if you're following the tips in this video. And I know there are other videos out there as well. And it starts off by not doing this week's challenge rift. Let me repeat that. Do not do this week's challenge rift until the season actually starts and you've actually created a seasonal character. I cannot possibly emphasize the importance of this. This is going to help out your leveling process immensely by saving that challenge rift for after you've created a seasonal character. Now, when Friday does roll around, you're going to want to create that seasonal character. You can do that by creating a brand new character or by rebirthing an existing character, which if you choose to use the rebirth option, you want to make sure that at some point you go back and you get that gear that will be mailed to you and put it into your stash. You want to make sure that you don't lose any gear of importance to you. Another option is prior to the season start, maybe you want to clear out a character's inventory and what he's wearing right off the character and put that in your stash so that when the time rolls around to rebirth, you've got that fresh character that doesn't have anything on it, and then you don't have to worry about going back into non-season and retrieving all of that gear. But once you've got that seasonal character all situated, you're going to go ahead and create your character. Make sure it's seasonal, like I said. And then you're going to go ahead and use the challenge rift. And you're going to complete this challenge rift. You're going to run it and then get the bounty cash on your new seasonal character. So once that challenge rift is done, and you can choose to do that in a party, if you are already leveling in a 4-man group or a group setup, you're going to want to do that together because that's going to ensure that everybody gets it done at the same time. And it's much faster to do challenge rifts as a group. Now, they are designed for solo play to challenge yourself, but groups can clear them pretty quickly. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing that if you are running groups. But once you have that all set, you're going to go ahead and change your game setting to adventure mode. Always level in adventure mode. It's much faster. Campaign's going to be much slower when it comes to leveling. So switch over to adventure mode. I would change this to either hard or master right off the bat. Personally, I start off on master and then adjust it if I need to. I drop down the difficulty to hard if things are taking too long. And I want to be able to kill stuff quickly. I want to be able to progress through rifts rather quickly if I'm in a group setup. And I want to make sure that I can chain those massacre bonuses if I am playing solo at the season start. I personally prefer to play in a group. That means we run Nephilim rifts pretty much non-stop for the most part. But once you're in the game, you go ahead and create the game in adventure mode, start that up, and then you are going to do a little bit of crafting once you open up your bounty cache. So a mail icon will be here. You'll grab your bounty cache. You'll open it up. It's going to have gold, some DBs, death's breaths, and some bounty materials. And all of this is going to help you out greatly. And once you have your bounty cache, if you're running solo, you go grab your cube. If you're in a group, all of you can go grab the cube. And where you're going is Act 3. You are going to go to Ruins of Sescheron. That's where the Elder Sanctum is. You're going to go look for the Elder Sanctum and then go get your cube and bring it to town. Once you've got your bounty cache and your cube, you're going to go ahead and up your artisans. You're going to increase the levels for your blacksmith, and you're going to increase the level of your mystic because you will be using both of these through your leveling process. And the first thing you're going to do is craft one level 70 item. Now, for most classes, these are going to be a class specific item. For instance, either a fist weapon or a Diablo for the monk. I personally prefer Diablos because there's a much better chance of getting something that's actually useful out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and craft one single Diablo. Now for barbarians, you're looking at one or two-handed mighty weapons. I think one-handed mighty weapons has a better chance of being something useful. For witch doctors, it's going to be mojos. For crusaders, it's either satyr shields or flails. I think you've got a better chance with shields rather than the flails in order to get something useful. And for demon hunter and necromancer, it's actually pretty awesome because if you go with two-handed scythes for the necro, or if you go with daggers for the demon hunter, you are pretty much guaranteed something that can help you out in your leveling process. I'm going to take this over here. I'm going to use recipe number 3, which is the upgrade rare item. What I'm looking for primarily here is a balance. We did not get one. We actually got a flying dragon, but I was actually hoping for a balance, or I was looking for the incense torch of the Grand Temple. Those are your two best options. One's going to increase your wave of light damage significantly, and it's going to lower the spirit cost, which is going to help you out while you're leveling. And the balance is going to increase your Tempest Rush damage. So we didn't get lucky this time. We actually got a flying dragon. So we would go ahead and cube that and throw it on there. Because we might as well. It's got that chance to double your attack speed, which can be a little bit helpful. It's not going to be helpful with something like Tempest Rush. It's going to make you actually blow through all of your spirit. But if you are auto-attacking or something like that, it can be useful. So unfortunately, we didn't get a good one. We're looking for balance. We're looking for Incense Torch of the Grand Temple. Either of those is going to be good. I can't think of any other ones that'll be that great. I mean, Flow of Eternity would increase the damage of your 7-sided strike and reduce its cooldown, but it's still not going to be exceptional for you. This is another one that you can get. Unfortunately, we did not get lucky, but sometimes at the beginning of the season you do. Then we are going to go ahead and go over to Kadala, and we're going to use our blood shards. Now I will link in the description down below that D3 planner source guide that shows you what can be rolled at what level for each of the classes out there. I use it all the time, every season start. For the monk, pretty much what I'm looking for at level 1, I know that two things you can roll for as far as boots go. Rivera Dancers, which is going to give you increased damage for your lashing tail kick. You can also roll Brutus Boots, which is going to double your Mystic Allies. That can be a little bit helpful. Now, if I was to get a balance, or if I was to get the Wave of Light Daibo, then I would actually roll for Bracers, because Bracers, you could get Caesar's Memento, which is also going to increase your Tempest Rush damage. You could get Pinto's Pride, which is going to increase your Wave of Light damage, or you could get Gungdo Gear. So either or, I would say Bracers or Boots for the most part if you're on the monk. Obviously, you want to check this spreadsheet, see what exactly is a good roll for your class. Keep in mind that jewelry rolls are going to be more expensive, so you've got a much lower chance at getting a useful piece of jewelry. And you want to use those mats wisely because you want to make sure that you are actually getting something out of it. But either way, you're hoping to get one of these items. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out for us this time, but that is the breaks, if you will. It is a gambling process for everybody except for necromancers and demon hunters. But once we get going and once we get everything all situated there, we are going to actually come over to our Templar here. And we are going to take his weapon, steal it. He doesn't need it. He's going to sit in town, especially if you're in a group. Take his weapon. Yours has 3 damage. Just get rid of that. Throw that right on the ground. You're going to take his weapon. That's a big damage boost right off the bat at level 1. And then once you've got everything all set up, you've got your follower's weapon and everything, you're going to want to look for a boss that is also a bounty. You could do the Skeleton King. I would suggest doing that in a group. Zoltan Cool is a really good one to get if you can get him to be a bounty, and that's going to give you a couple of upgrades. Hopefully it'll give you a weapon upgrade. And then pretty much what you're going to do is if you're in a group, you are going to be running Nephilim Rifts. If you're solo, you can choose to run Nephilim Rifts as well, But I would strongly suggest going after those massacre bonuses in areas like the Festering Woods. You've got Weeping Hollow, Southern Highlands, either of the Highlands. You've got Halls of Agony. Anywhere where there's going to be a big chunk of density that's going to be easily chained into a big massacre bonuses if you're solo playing. Solo players can actually have an advantage when it comes to that. You've got those massacre bonuses. You can't really get those inside Nephilim Rifts at all unless you're on console. Grouping, I would definitely go with Nephilim Rifts and keep it on Master or Hard, trying to avoid Expert mode because the difficulty ramp up compared to Hard isn't worth the experience gain. So you're going to want to either go on Master or Hard. If you are feeling more capable and you got a good couple of rolls off of your gambling, then you might be able to bump it up to Torment 1, Torment 2, especially if you've got a group going and all of you got some upgrades when you were doing that initial work with your crafting. Then you've quite possibly able to bump it up even more. And who knows, the Pandemonium buff is going to buff up your damage. It's going to allow you some extra damage off of those special events that are going to be happening while you're stacking up your Pandemonium buff. Now, they did rearrange things around with that. They kind of nerfed the Pandemonium buff when it comes to early game and early levels of it. But it's still going to help you out significantly, especially in a group setup. Use that buff. It's going to buff your movement speed. It's going to buff your damage. And you've got those special events that are going to occur every so many kills. So use your Pandemonium buff. Season 19 should be a very quick leveling process thanks to all of that going on, especially if you're in a group setup. In a Nephilim Rift, if you can keep chaining kills, that's going to help you out greatly. And maybe that's going to allow you to bump up the difficulty as well. If so, go for it. You just want to make sure that you're being efficient enough in completing the rifts fast enough to be able to maintain a steady amount of experience coming into you. Now, a couple other tips I can give you is at level 23, you're going to want to do a full set of bounties because this is going to give you the possibility of gaining that Cain's recipe. And the Cain set is going to increase the experience gains by you and your party. So if one person in the party gets the Cain's recipe, that is going to increase your experience gain across your entire party. So the more items you can have with plus to experience and plus to monster kill experience, that's going to help everybody in the group. So keep that in mind as well. At level 23, complete one full act of bounties so that you can hope to get that Cain set. At level 40, you're going to want to take a look at crafting level 70 items and trying to get reduced level requirement on them. And as you can see, if I take let's just take a Diablo, for instance. If I craft one Diablo here, you're going to want to see what's on it, maybe craft another. And I'll explain why in just a second. So this here, you've got life per kill and maximum spirit as your secondary. All right, this one right here with the blind. And I'll show you why that's important. This one has that blind. So see this right here? If you look at the blind, there's a massive amount of possibilities in here for what you could re-roll on this item. Now this right here, we're looking for level requirement reduced by up to 30. This is going to give us a level 70 weapon really early on in the game. But if we roll the blinds, stand a chance to get one of these affixes as well. We're going to take the other one, which is that plus to maximum spirit, and we've eliminated so many possibilities out of this. So now if we re-roll it, maybe we could get that reduced level requirement. It might take a little bit of time, and maybe you'll want to craft instead. Craft another one, because if it gets too high of a price, you're probably not going to want to keep doing it. This is going to increase the gold price all the time, and you don't want to blow through all of your gold. So maybe it's a better idea to just craft another one and try re-rolling a couple of times on that. That might be what's best for you. Obviously, in this video, Iron Jesus did not want to help me out with it whatsoever, but that's fine. That's going to happen. That's part of the leveling process. Maybe you'll get something good and useful. Maybe you won't. And if you are grouping, hopefully somebody in the group gets something that's going to benefit the group as a whole. One last bit of advice for you out there is red gems are very important when it comes to leveling. Green gems with that additional crit damage, you're not going to be doing any critical hits anyways for the most part. You're going to do some here and there, but your crit chance is going to be insanely low. So you're better off with a red gem in your weapon, which is actually going to boost the damage. Not only that, but red gems in your helm increase the experience gained. If you're lucky enough to get a Leoric's crown early on and can socket a red gem into it, that's going to bump up the amount of experience you gain as well. But hopefully some of these tips helped you guys out there. Hopefully everybody levels really quickly in the upcoming season and can get to accomplishing their goals for Season 19. I want to say thank you so very much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. I always greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know down in that comment section down below, what class are you running in Season 19? All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so very much for all the support, and you all have a fantastic day. Peace.